Hey, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I wanted to come talk to you about the beliefs of a top sales producer and how they're going to be different from those who are just getting into the sales industry or those who maybe have been into the sales industry for a little bit. Hey, my name is Greg Nelson. I'm the owner of a sales training and coaching company here in the Pacific Northwest called TheHardKnockState. And I've been a sales professional for 20 years. I've primarily worked in the automotive industry. And for over the past half of a decade, was employed in sales management where I coached and trained 100 or so sales professionals from all skill levels, from people just getting in the door, getting going, first time ever selling anything to anybody ever before, all the way up to the top producers in a very high volume automotive dealership. Not only that, I was also in that position. I was also saddled with the task of being the follow up guy for the dealership. So, very high skilled in follow up, very high skilled in the sales process and teaching people the sales process and the correct way to go about selling your product or service. And it doesn't matter whether you're in automotive sales, whether you're in retail commission sales, whether you're in insurance sales, real estate, the sales process is all the same. And it all starts out with the greeting of a customer. Whether we greet that customer on the phone, via email or text message through a website chat, or if they've walked into our office, our showroom, or our store and we're meeting them face to face. The sales process should remain the same. The perfect sales process should remain the same no matter what industry you're in. The only thing that changes is the product or the service that you're selling, or the problem, I should say, the problem of the customer, the problem that the customer is having and why they've come to you to find the solution. So, top sales producers, right down to the bottom, they think differently. They look for opportunities in every area. And I remember this one day in particular. It was about 10 years ago now. I was walking into a sales meeting and I had just been handed my paycheck. I sat down in the normal seat that I normally sat in, and I opened my paycheck and my face, it turned bright red. I slumped in my chair trying to hide. I was thinking about my two little kids and how I was going to keep the lights on. And then I heard it. Hey, Greg, I was being called out by the sales manager to tell the entire sales department how many vehicles I had out for the month, or more like didn't have. I was embarrassed. I was demotivated, and my performance for the rest of the weekend was shot. And the worst thing about that day is when I got home that evening and walked through the front door, my wife had told me that our water had been turned off. And so if you're like me and you're running through a rough patch in maybe your sales career, maybe you've been selling for a period of time, and everything changes. Nothing ever stays the same. Maybe at one time you're doing really well in sales. Maybe you've stuck it out and you've been with the company for quite a while now, but you've kind of fallen into a rut, and maybe you just can't seem to find a way to get back to the top. Well, I'd be happy to chat with you. I do have on sale right now my complete sales mastery package. It is a 12-month sales training program, and it's 12 months of Cardone University, 12-month access to Cardone University with over 800 sales and business training courses. You'll learn topics such as cold calling, closing and negotiations, prospecting, getting attention in the market, and much more. In addition, you'll also be able to hop in to a live group training session 1 day per week for 4 months. So that's 16 individual sessions. The normal price of this is $29.97. It's on sale for $1,000 off through January 31st. And the price right now is $19.97. If you go to thehardknockstate.com, that's our website. Go to thehardknockstate.com and scroll all the way down, very the website through all the and at the very bottom on the right hand side, look on complete sales mastery. It just loads for a little bit. If you can see the screen behind me here. And as it's loading, I got to tell you, companies as large as Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, Ashley Furniture, uh, automotive companies such as Chrysler, Ford, Honda, BMW, even the U.S. Army has trained or is currently training their sales reps or their recruiters through the Cardone University platform. So when it loads up there, you see you come up, you'll see everything that you get within it. These 4 months of the weekly group training sessions, that we are going to cover 9 of Grant Cardone's 10x courses. We're going to do each and every single week. You'll be given a workbook. Grant, I tell you, Grant Cardone to me is got a very special place in my heart, and I know his training material works because I've used it myself while in sales to get me out of that position, which I call the hard knock state. And exactly what I told you when I had to give that, tell everybody in front of the entire sales department, in my lack of performance, if you will, for how many vehicles I had out for that month. Well, it was about, wasn't long after that, another coworker we were taking a coffee break. He had not been in sales for as long as that period of time. And so I asked him, I said, hey, what are you doing differently than what I'm doing or some of the other guys are doing that have been doing more experience for many more years than what you have? So what is your key there? And he says, I got this audio book, and it was by this guy. His name was Grant Cardone. And the book was, I think, the 10X Rule. I got this book, the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I'm listening to it. It's really changing my outlook and the way I'm seeing things. And I don't know, I just listened to the book and I started doing better. And so I went out and I got one of his books. It wasn't the 10X Rule right away. It was another book. And but it worked. And all of a sudden my sales started getting a little better and a little better. And then in 2015, Grant's sales training material. And at this period of time, Grant had been successful with this material, and he'd already had Cardone University established. He has already been, in just pretty much every sales organization, either selling or having those people use his sales training product. And so I knew it to be true, and I knew it to work. So I took the deep dive, got onto Cardone University, went to a online webinar of overcoming objections, and then before you know it, at the end of 2015, I was one of the top sales producers in the store. I had developed a game plan. I had stuck to that game plan, executed on it. I took the 10x the effort to hit that goal that I had set out for myself, because I knew, if you know anything about the 10x rule, you know that you're always going to fall a little bit short of the goal you set. So why not set a 10x goal and then put in 10 times the effort in order to hit that goal? And so that's exactly what I did. And then 6 months after that, I was promoted into sales management, where I started teaching and training sales associates on exactly what had made me successful and why that was. So, if you don't know about Grant, he's an internationally renowned speaker on leadership, real estate investing, entrepreneurship, social media and finance, and sales. Number one on Forbes' list of 25 marketing influencers to watch. Best-selling author of several books, including the 10X Rule, The Only Difference Between Success and Failure. And 7 of his privately held companies have annual revenues now exceeding well above $200 million. And so we're going to this one of these 10x sales professional courses, but this is really it's the principles of the top sales producer. I've talked about this and how to maximize every sales opportunity on a few of my past live streams quite often. But this is so important. This is the start. It all comes down to what's in between our two ears and what's really going on in our own mind as to how successful we're going to be. Because a lot of times you have some beliefs. Maybe you listened to some trainer you felt strongly about, took had a positive emotional connection with somebody in the past, some mentor, some trainer, some coach, some teacher along the way gave you some information, and it's just not relevant in today's world anymore. And that happens because these things that people are taught are passed down from generation to generation. So maybe that mentor, that teacher, that coach who was teaching you these ideas, maybe he learned it from somebody from the previous generation. And I'll tell you, in today's world, it's completely different than what it was 40, 50 years ago. But the good thing is that this material is cutting edge, it's relevant, and it will remain relevant going into the future. It's all about how we think and how we act and what we do every single day that starts us on our path to becoming a top sales producer. Everyone needs to be a salesperson. 18 million people in the US self identify themselves as salespeople. 13% of all jobs in the US, 1 in 8 are full time sales positions. No matter your title or position, no matter what it is, at some point in time, you're going to have to convince others of something. You're going to have to convince others of something, some idea, a concept, maybe a philosophy of how you think the company needs to move forward in the future. Maybe you're a school teacher and you need to convince your students on why what you're teaching is important. At some point in time, everybody will have to tell somebody something. The ability or inability to sell, persuade, negotiate, and convince others will affect every area of your life, and ultimately whether you survive or thrive. And that is a quote from Grant himself. What do these successful people all have in common? People like Mark Cuban, Martha Stewart, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, and you could even throw some of the later stars of today in there as well. But what do they all have in common? They all know that without a sales, you're not going to survive. Without gaining sales, without getting your idea, your opinion across to other people, you're not going to make it. Selling is critical to survival. Rich or poor, whether you get paid salary or commission, if you're a receptionist or if you're a professional salesperson, you're always selling someone in order to advance your area, your position in life. There is no exception to this rule, and there is no way to escape it. Examples of this could be a receptionist who wants a raise, an actress who wants a part in a new sitcom or a movie or a play, a professional salesperson who's trying to make a deal and earn more money, a person who needs a loan from a bank or a loan from a financial institution or from somebody else. Even driving on the freeway, trying to access the off ramp. You're always negotiating. You're negotiating on every aspect of your life. And so those successful people, they all also understand that sales success is business success, because salespeople are the company's lifeblood. It's the oil in the engine. And without a well lubricated and oiled engine, it's just not going to work properly. Without a successful sales team, companies just won't last. And think about these two companies up here on these slides, Sears and Borders Bookstore. Those were both companies that were at the top of their game at one point in time. They took their eyes off the prize. They took their sight off the ball, and they lost direction. What that direction was servicing the customer and making sales, solving the problems of a customer and making a sale of some product or service that would help fill their needs. Do you think Borders was a store that was filled with solutions to problems? I mean, heck, they were a bookstore, wall to wall, corner to corner, filled with solution to people's problems. How about Sears? You could get anything in Sears. And when Sears was at their top of their game, they would send out everybody a Sears catalog, a really thick Sears catalog. It was probably the size of a phone book, and they would send that out to everybody. And that was their first. That was the first. People would go and they would shop through a catalog, and then go into the store, order it, or call in and order it. And you could get everything in there. And they lost sight of the consumer changing marketplace. Positive beliefs. Top sales producers believe these things, and you need to believe that sales matters. You need to believe your product or your service matters. The product or service that you're selling, that it is going to make an absolute difference in people's lives. And you need to believe that you matter. You as a sales professional, you as a human being, you matter. And without you, because who else would they rather buy from, you or somebody else? And again, I get on my Complete Sales Mastery package here because it is on sale for $19.97. And with this, I want to tell a bit about the courses that we're going to be covering. There's 9 different 10x sales courses, and we're going to be covering the materials out of each of those courses. You'll get a workbook so you can study it throughout the week until our next training and coaching session. So those 9 courses, we're going to start with the principles of a top sales producer. And we're going through those slides currently right now. We're going to, second week, we're going to show you how to maximize every sales opportunity. Then we're going to go into how to win more deals with less effort. And that is the 10x sales process, Grant's perfect sales process. Week 4 and week 5 is a 2-week course. It's a master class on closing and negotiations called How to Get Your Customer to Say Yes. Week 6 is going to be phone sales mastery. And we're going to show you how to maximize the most valuable selling tool you have in your office, your showroom, or your store. Heck, even on your hip, in your pocket, in your hand right now. That phone right there is the most valuable tool you have if you're a salesperson. It's the most powerful weapon you have in your arsenal, next to being right in front of the person. Then we're going to show you how to do some 10x follow-up. We're going to give you some simple strategies to double your sales. The 10x professional will be in week 8, and that's how to guarantee you earn 10x the money. Week 10 will be 10x money principles and $1 million strategies to build indestructible wealth. So how you get there, again, is you go to TheHardKnockState.com. TheHardKnockState.com. Scroll to the very bottom of the website. The bottom right corner, go through all my weekly group training coaching, go through all the different products. And then on the right-hand corner, click on Complete Sales Mastery, add to the cart, and we take all major credit cards. Add to the cart. If you want to try to budget this daily, if you're working on a daily budget, it works out to $5.47 a day. The $19.97, again, this is a 12-month training program because you get 12 months access of Cardone University, and you'll get 4 months of live group training coaching sessions where, again, we're going to go over those 9 10x sales professional course. So do that, and I guarantee in 90 days, you'll see new habits being developed. You'll see that you're looking at ways differently. You'll come to work with a spring in your step, and you'll have a smile on your face because you know that you are already learning and developing a process and a skill and a trade that nobody could ever take away from you. And heck, if the sales job or position that you're in now, if that industry that you're in now, if that doesn't work out for you in the long term, you can always take the skill and the trade of sales, and you could always move industries and go find another sales position. That's probably the most beautiful thing about sales and what makes it unique from just about any other industry out there. So we're in part two of the top principles of how to be a the or the principal top sales producers. These are the beliefs. These are this is the mindset of top sales producers. And part two here, salespeople make the world go round. Of sales, and it's important to know the definitions of these words. The definition of sales is the action of persuading or influencing another to a course of action or to the acceptance of something. So the definition again is the action of persuading or influencing another to a course of action or to the acceptance of something. And salespeople drive entire economies. Sales success equals economy success. Without salespeople, every industry on the planet would stop cold tomorrow. Salespeople drive products, individual businesses, complete industries, and entire economies. Sales is the last great, truly free enterprise opportunity available today. In sales, you can work for yourself, be accountable to yourself, and make your dreams come true. For those willing to commit to selling as a career and to continue to learn how to master it, there are no limits. In most selling organizations, especially in retail commission sales, there is no learning or earning cap, earning ceiling on what you can make. Quite honestly, because it's a win-win for the company, and it's a win-win for you, and it's a win-win for their customers. The more you sell, the more you solve the problems and needs of the customers walking in the door, picking up the phone and calling into your store, or hitting you up on the email or website chat. Uh, you got to understand that the more you produce, the better off their customers are. The more word of mouth and the more customers that company is going to receive, the more the company is going to be able to expand, going to be able to grow, going to be able to bring more new technology and more cutting edge tools to your selling organization, to their store. They're going to be able to provide more and better product and services for those customers. The more you sell, the more everybody benefits. So why should a company limit the amount of money you can make or the amount of money you earn? The beautiful thing with sales is, heck, if you want to raise tomorrow, just go out and sell more tomorrow. All professionals rely on sales, and this is the bottom truth. All professionals rely on sales. You can get by with not knowing how to set a broken ankle, prepare a contract, or design a house. You can hire a doctor, lawyer, or architect. You cannot get along in life. You're not going to get very far in life without the ability to communicate, persuade, negotiate, and close a deal. Leaders in any profession had to build a career around selling to get to the top, and so will you. You might be wondering, why are we spending so much time on the importance of sales in the economy, in your company, and in your life? Well, quite honestly, sales is again the lifeblood of every single company. Being a sales professional, the lifeblood. You're the oil in the machine. You make the cogs turn around. You make the store be able to get the product off of their shelves and get it into the consumer's home. And when that happens, they'll order more product. You'll continue selling that product. You'll continue to have satisfied customers using that product, and the flow of circulation of money in the economy, the more if every sale everybody in the sale in any sales industry, any sales job could just grasp the concept and the idea of what I'm saying right now. The more you sell, the better off our economy is going to be. The more problems you solve for customers walking in your door, the better off the economy is going to be. And so beware of false data out there because this is the true data. Okay. The subject of selling is full of false information that has been perpetuated over the years. These false data may be responsible for poor impressions of this profession and much needed skill called sales. People tend to form opinions, give advice, and pass myths when they don't really actually have any personal winning awards in sales management and being a certified Grant Cardone licensee able to deliver and this content and Grant Cardone's training curriculum. I believe that makes me an authority on the issue. So beware of who's giving you the information at hand because you're going to hear things from people who have no experience ever selling a thing in their life, or maybe they have bad about salespeople. Who knows? Maybe their parents thought bad about salespeople. Maybe their dad thought bad about salespeople, and now you think bad about salespeople, and you're going to tell your kids how bad salespeople are. But you're going to hear things through in life, this false data, things like selling is hard, it's difficult to depend on commission, selling is sleazy, selling requires long hours, selling isn't a dependable profession, and selling isn't a real job. I got to tell you, over 20 years, personally, I can tell you those are all lies. And if you believe wrong things about this profession, you will undermine your own beliefs about the importance of your role in it, what it is that you're doing, your importance of your role, how important you are, how it is, and how important the company is that you sell for. And most importantly, how important the customer is who you're standing in front of. Because we're going into part three right now. We're rolling through because is going to be professional or are you an amateur? A professional, the definition, a person who engages in a specified activity as his or her main occupation rather than a pastime. And so if you're just doing sales as a hobby, you're an amateur. Okay, you're not a professional. 80% of professional salespeople only have a slight idea of what selling is, much less the skills to actually determine and predict the results. 99% of salespeople only have a slight idea. Do you know the majority of salespeople in this selling industry? Very few of them have ever even read a book on sales. It's a real shame that we don't try to become master. We think just by waking up, putting on our shoes, putting on our pants, maybe a shirt and tie, and going to the place of business where we work and talking to customers and selling our product, just by doing that every day, we think we're going to get better. We think we're going to advance. Remember, top professionals think differently. And this is the principles of top sales producers. I've said these people have a different beliefs and have different mindsets. And you need to adapt and adopt these beliefs and these mindsets. The way they think is differently. The producers, these 10x producers, the way they think is different. The way they work is different. They have different habits than you have, and they put out different results. They even have different customers. Believe it or not, their customers are probably easier than your customers because they know their mindset is all thinking about positive people getting in front of me who are going to actually purchase. They look for reasons for the customer to buy a product versus reasons why they won't buy a product. product. They treat everybody like millionaires. They treat everybody like they can and they will buy from them right then and right there. And so, believe it or not, they attract those people to them. And so their customers are different. And that's how it's part of it right there. Uh, there is no such as a natural salesperson. You're not born a salesperson. It's a learned skill that can be mastered. No different than being a plumber, no different than being an electrician, no different than being a carpenter or a mason. These are skills that you can learn because, again, nobody is born a salesperson. Professional salespeople believe in the power of sales to help them reach their goals. They believe in themselves. They made a decision to motivate themselves to learn everything they can. They are committed to their craft. They know that sales gives them unlimited opportunity, and they own the fact that it's their own efforts that will determine how high they fly. They take 100% responsibility for their results. The definition of an amateur: a person who engages in a pursuit, study, science, or sport as a pastime rather than a profession. One lacking in experience or competence in an art or a science. Are you sure? Is selling just a pastime for you? No different than watching television? Do you lack experience and competence in this field? Are you not clear about what you're doing while you're negotiating? Do you struggle to get your way in life? Do you have a secret disdain for this thing called selling? Do you hate rejection and even the idea of selling another? Do you think that do you think that great salespeople are just born that way? We just discussed that. They're not born. It was a skill that they learned. But are these the thoughts and the beliefs that you're holding on to? If so, you may be in that amateur ranking. It's not a fate, the universe, or even God. God has his hands full. It's up to you. Your very life and dreams depend on this. Depend on your ability to sell. Depend on your ability to voice your opinion. It's your belief across to. Uh, how to get out of the amateur status? Desire to be great, not average. It all starts with a commitment. You got to desire to be great, and no longer will you put up with being average. You got to put your foot down and tell yourself, I'm never going back to being average. I'm never going back to living paycheck to paycheck. Dedication and willingness to learn the skills you need. Stop making excuses for why you're not getting what you want. And you need to decide to learn everything there is to learn about becoming a professional and a sales professional at that. Great people, their income depends on one thing: the ability to generate customers, make themselves known in the marketplace, and get agreements from people, close sales, and reproduce these results over and over again. If you get your right and learn what you need to know, welcome aboard. Welcome to this industry that I believe is the greatest industry in the planet, the greatest industry in the United States, and that's the sales industry. You know, it is my mission. When I left my last selling job, in my last career, I got to tell you, I really made it my mission to help over 10 million people in the United States to learn how to live a successful life through a rewarding career in sales. And so I got a hold of this. I got knowing Grant Cardone's material, knowing that it works, knowing that it absolutely helped me get to where I was in my selling career, and absolutely helped me get to where I am today. Without it, I don't know where I would be. I would probably still be worried about the power getting turned off, or our water getting turned off, or whether I was going to pay the mortgage or make the car payment. I got to tell you, once I understood the philosophy that to be a top producer And to be an absolute master of this thing called selling, I was going to have to take dedication and practice every single day. And so uh, when I plugged into Cardone University, I would jump onto that 10 minutes, 15 minutes every morning, right as I was grabbing my morning cup of coffee. And with that, that would set the tone for the whole entire day. And so, with my complete sales mastery package, for one whole year, you'll get 12 months access to Cardone University, where you too can hop on every single morning from your laptop computer, your desktop computer, your smartphone, a tablet, anywhere where there's an internet or data connection, and you can plug into Cardone University. And all you do is you watch 2 to 4 training segments per day, and each segment is between 2 and 5 minutes long. And 10 to 15 minutes while you're drinking your first cup of coffee in the morning, you could set the tone to the whole day. And then one day a week you implement that material you've learned every single day to the customers who you're engaging with. And then once a week you hop on a group training session where we'll cover some additional Grant Cardone material that's not in Cardone University. We'll cover material like we're covering tonight. And tonight is the principles of a top sales producer, because top sales producers think completely differently than the rest of the pack. They have a different mindset and a different outlook. They have a different attitude than everybody else. And this could just be the thing that would get you over the hurdle to get you to becoming a top producer. If you could understand this more than anything else, well, this and the perfect sales process. If you could understand the mindset more than anything else, you're more than halfway there. And I guarantee you, if you were taking notes on this topic tonight, and you start implementing this first thing tomorrow when your work week starts, or maybe Tuesday because of the holiday, whether your company observes tomorrow as a holiday or you start on Monday, if you implement this information right away and you start having success with it, then you'll know what a great value that spending $5.47 a day is for one whole year. Because if your daily budget of $5.40 a day, less than $5.50 a day, you could budget for this whole complete sales mastery program. I guarantee after 90 days, you're going to be selling at levels you've never sold before. You'll be setting your sights on higher and greater targets than you've ever set your sights before. You're going to be walking with a step in your pep in your step. You're going to be a ear to ear grin walking into work every day, because you're going to be eager to go help more people to service their needs and solve their problems, because you know that if you do and you're able to solve their problems, you're going to be greatly rewarded with a commission. And not just a commission of money, but a commission in the satisfaction of knowing that you're now on your way to being a producer. The great past and riches have been accumulated by salespeople. The excuse me, those same opportunities still exist today. People still overwhelmingly want to buy from people, not machines. Think about are you really going to drop $15,000 to $20,000 on a car without talking to a real live person first? I know there is a company out there right now going through a lot of heat, and they're probably not going to make it. And they haven't been around really all that long, but they had a good run while they had it. But the reality is that people would rather touch and feel a product. People would rather touch it, feel it, play with it, turn knobs, push buttons, drive it, sit on it, lay on it, uh, uh, get all their senses incorporated to make sure that product or service will absolutely fit their needs. It's one thing to look at pictures online, but it's a completely different thing to see it in person. And people don't want to make a mistake, especially with bigger ticket items. Uh, if you're selling heck, cars, jacuzzis, stoves, and spas, if you're selling large kitchen appliances, if you're selling bathroom remodeling, if you're selling fences, if you're selling roofing, heck, if you're selling roofing, you bring a customer a sample of the material for them to touch it, for them to look at it, for them to feel it. And so, even on a roof, people don't want to drop that kind of money without talking first. This is special. I got to know that the key to sales success lies in creating value, lies in creating value of that product or service that you're selling, and lies in creating value that that product or service will absolutely fill the needs of that customer. If you always create more value than what you're being paid, you'll always have a job and you'll always get paid what you want. And that is the truth right there. There's no ceiling, but you have to learn the trade. And that is the one thing that's going to stop you if you are just getting into the sales industry right now. And you think after doing it for 90 days, if you think that after maybe you had a good first 30 days, you had a good month in your business, but now, man, things seem a little tougher this second month, or maybe you're in your third or fourth month, and boy, it seemed so easy when I first started. This is where you really have to start becoming a student of the industry of sales and the profession of being a salesman. Because you got to remember this little fact here. This is another quote by Grant, but remember, only 2% of salespeople, or excuse me, only 2% of sales happen on the first call. A true professional in any field never stops training, never stops learning, and always keeps pushing him or herself to get better. And every day, they train every day. And that's exactly what I'm about. So if you want to become a real master, if you're right now in your sales job, your sales career, or maybe again you're new and you're at that 90-day mark and things just aren't as easy as they were your first month into it, just know that you're going to have to push yourself for greatness, and you're going to have to practice every single the great uh, success starts in the mind, your own 2 ears. You must commit all the way to great. You must commit to yourself. You must commit to your training. Here's the definition of training: to devote oneself completely to something. So, how do you commit in your job? How do you commit in your life, in your profession, at your job, your career? Are you eliminating all and any other options? Devote everything you can to learning all you can. In short, become a super freak. And so, if we could do this, we'll be well on our way to becoming a sales professional. Unlimited calls on your time and resource. We can have to share and be anything we're really willing and really work for. Uh, you want a private jet, work very hard and go buy one. If you want to own a professional sporting team, if you want to own the Mavericks, if you want to own the Trailblazers, if you want to own a football team, there's no law against it. All it requires is a whole lot of money. In the previous times and cultures, this hasn't been the case. We have untold freedom and opportunity and mobility, but the choice comes at a cost. Research shows that the more choices someone has, the less satisfied they are with the choice they do make. So sometimes too many choices can hurt us. We need to, in our fact finding, as we're going through our sales process, and when you sign up for the Complete Sales Mastery, we start going over Grant's perfect sales process. You'll understand that sometimes what we need to do in our fact finding is we need to narrow down we need to actively listen to our customers. And then we need to take the information that they've told us and we need to narrow that down to about three different choices. One that will was probably right in the middle of the pack, one that is maybe has a little bit less features and equipment, and one that is has a lot more features and equipment. But if we narrow it down to those three choices, your customers will be satisfied. Lay it down. This is what I'm doing, and that's it. So just, you got to lead, and the easiest way to lead if you're in a showroom type situation is just lay the customer out of the sales process of what's going to happen, because this is a transparent sales process. Everything we do here is ethical and transparent. And so lay it down for the customer. Tell the customer, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is what's going to happen next. And then put your hand up and wave. Follow me. Follow me. Those are probably two of the most magical words you could say in the selling industries. Folks, this is what we're doing. Follow me. True, free yourselves from others' opinions, options. Free yourselves from other options. Free yourself from doubt. Free yourself from wasting time thinking about what could have been. Everything comes from a decision. If you don't like the results you're getting, understand they came from a decision. Look at the divorce rate. What kind of commitment is it if 50% of people are headed for divorce, headed for Splitsville? Decision is power. Make the decision to become a super freak. Go all in and follow through. You have to convince yourself that this is your chosen profession. This is what you're dedicating your time and energy to. Greener pastures. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Hey, I'm going to take a look at this job over here because I think the grass is just a little bit greener. The reality is it's human nature to think that others have it better than us. The grass is always greener while people are watering it and mowing it and pulling weeds. The grass is always greener where people are taking care of it. Weeds grow because you're neglecting your grass. Commit to taking care of your own lawn, and you'll see that the grass is greener right where you're at. Why we look for something better. When we neglect something, we start to dislike it. If you don't like your house, you'll think you need to move. And if you think you need to move, your real estate agent tells you you need to fix up your house. You fix up your house, and then you no longer need to move. Why? Because you took care of your own grass. You watered your own lawn. When you tend to your own grass, watch how green your pastures get. There really is. The only reason why you won't like selling, there's only one true reason why people don't like selling. It's not because they don't like rejection. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't like people. The only reason a person doesn't like selling is that he or she doesn't know what it is they're doing. When you don't understand something, you're not in control. And when you're not in control, you're not going to like doing what that thing is. You're not going to like doing it. When you're not in control, you're not going to like doing it. The more you know, the better you'll do. The better you do, the more you'll like your job. Successful people made a commitment to master their trade. Can't hit on that enough. There is no replacement for knowing your job. Only a handful of people around you, in your team, in your industry, at your store, your showroom, or your office, will make a commitment to truly become the best they can. They'll read the books, they'll take the courses, they'll attend events, they'll do the work, they'll spend money to improve themselves, like signing up for the Complete Sales Mastery at TheHardKnockState.com. And sooner or later, they will become a top performer. To become great, you have to practice, not just play. The most important sale you'll ever make is the one you make to yourself. Selling yourself. If you don't believe no one else will. To the degree you're sold, convinced, persuaded, you will sell others. To the degree that you're sold, convinced, persuaded, you will sell others. And this is a hard one for a lot of us to swallow. But to the degree that you're sold on you're sold on your company, you're sold on your product, to the degree that you're convinced on your product, convinced that you're the right person to sell that product, and your company is the right company to service your customers' needs, persuaded, You'll sell to other people. This is a vital and critical, unavoidable fact that cannot be missed if you want to become great at your trade. If you want to become a true professional, this is a vital and critical, unavoidable fact. This fact is also one of the most important tools you'll ever have as a salesperson and can be used to monitor the results of your career. The bottom line is if you're not selling to some degree, you're not sold. You have to convince yourself that your product, your company, your services, and your idea are superior to all others. You have to be 100% certain that what you're selling is better than all other options. Conviction is the make break point. Have you ever sold something, your home, a car, yourself, to an employer for a job, for a price higher than what the market was paying for, other people were paying for at the time? Maybe you believed your house was worth more than the market, and even your real estate agent said that it was unique because of its view, its location. Maybe it was unique because of the floor plan. Maybe you negotiated for a higher salary at your position, your job, because you were so convinced the value that you would bring to the company would be far greater than the amount of money they were going to give to you as a raise. Maybe once you became convinced of the value, uh, once you do become truly convinced of the value that you bring, you can convince others too. But if you don't believe first, if you don't believe in the product first, if you don't believe in yourself first, the customer, they'll never believe in it and they'll never do business with you. Conviction, uh, it's the make break point. But the definition of conviction, a firmly held belief. Uh, the Latin word of convict means to conquer. So with the make break point, your conviction, a sale is made when your conviction and belief about something are stronger than the other person's, at which point he or she gives up some of his own conviction. That moment is when the sale becomes possible. It is called the make break point. People tell you your dreams are impossible. We've been told this our whole life. Uh, People told Alexander Graham Bell that the telephone was impossible. People have been telling Elon Musk, and they're still telling Elon Musk that going to Mars is impossible. How about Gabby Douglas or Steve Jobs? Did people tell Steve Jobs that his vision and what he was trying to make was impossible? It's only impossible until someone makes it impossible. Put your money where your mouth is. Do you own and use your own product? If you're, let's say you're selling finance and insurance, do you own and use your own insurance? Do you own and use your own service contracts? Do you buy it yourself? If you're an automotive finance and insurance professional, do you buy the gap protection yourself and use it? I'll tell you, maybe if you're struggling in working in the finance office, maybe you should, maybe you're not sold on your own products or service. Maybe you should buy some of the product or service so you could tell others that you bought it yourself because you believed in it and you know that it's a great product and service. Do what a champion does. Uh, a champion decides to win the game with whatever they have to work with. Champions don't change teams. Champions make the most of the assets available to them. Champions play the cards they are dealt. Champions make the most of any situation. Champions don't lie to themselves. Champions convince themselves that the only solution to winning, and they commit to the only one outcome, which is success. When prospects ask if you drive the car you're selling, if you live in the house you're selling, if you own the stocks in the fund that you want them to invest in, you better be able to tell them yes. Because if you tell them no, chances of you making that sale are very slim. Because once again, to the degree that you're sold, you'll take action. To the degree that you take action, you'll be successful. If you won't buy it yourself, you're not sold yourself. It's that simple. It's that simple. If you won't buy it yourself, you're not, and therefore you won't be able to sell yourself. Part we're rolling right through this, is massive action. Most people incorrectly estimate the amount of effort it takes to get the results they want. They think about being balanced or reasonable. This is a losing mentality. You need to think in terms of massive action. Remember earlier when we talked about the 10x rule? Whatever you think is needed to get the job done, increase the amount far greater than you think is necessary. You'll get results far beyond your wildest expectations. Set your goals 10 times higher than what you think you can do, and then work 10 times harder to hit that goal than what you've ever worked before. I guarantee you at the end of the month, you'll look back and you'll have probably the best month you've ever had. You can never take enough action in life. You can only take too little action. Do you know there are four kinds of action? The right action, the wrong action, no action, and massive action. Massive action is the one you want to live by. It's the action we want to take, and it's the action that's going to move us from being a new or intermediate skilled level sales professional or a lower performing sales professional to get us to becoming a top producer. Massive action, it's the only way we're going to succeed. How many? How many lenders do you want to go to if you need a loan to buy an investment property? How many times do you call the newspaper if you want local coverage? How many people do you invite to a party if you want 250 people to show up? How many phone calls do you want to make if you want to exceed your goals? Do you have a game plan? Do you know right now you should? And we'll go over that during the complete sales mastery. You start through 12-month platform that the material is proven successful over 40 years. And not only that, companies as big as Microsoft, Google, Ashley Furniture, Audible, Salesforce, Ford, BMW, Honda, Chrysler, even the U.S. Army have or has trained their people on Cardone University. So if it's good enough for Microsoft and Google to train their people on Cardone University, don't you think it would be good enough for you to advance to the top producer status that you want to get to? Yeah, I tell you what is it? Why does the U.S. Army believe that daily training is so important? And why do they have their recruiters studying Cardone University sales training segments every morning for 10 or 15 minutes? It's because they know that if they can get that information in bite-sized chunks to where you're not going to get bored and checked out over 10 minutes of watching a training video. If you can get 2 or 3 little segments, get 2 or 3 useful bits of information that you can implement that day with those potential recruits walking into the recruiting office, and they know they can maximize those numbers. Businesses know that they can maximize and multiply their sales just by having their salespeople well trained. And so, with the 12 months at Cardone University, that is your daily training on how to become a sales master. Not only that, but also going through 4 months of live group training sessions. Well, we'll cover topics such as the principles of a top sales producer, which we're covering those slides tonight, because the beliefs of a top sales producer are different than the beliefs of an average or newly hired sales producer, or even that of a lower performing sales professional. And so this offer ends January 31st. You're going to save $1,000 right now. February 1st, it'll be $29.97, and for 4 months of weekly group training and 12 months access to Cardone University. It is literally a 12-month training program that works out to $5.47 per day. And think about that. Think about where you're going to be starting quarter 2 of 2023. We're already a couple weeks into quarter 1 here, and I got to tell you, a lot of people I'm already talking to, they're already falling short of their goals. The typical top 2 most widely used, widely come up with New Year's resolutions. Number 1 is to lose more weight, and number 2 is to make more money. I can't help you with number 1, but I can help you with number 2. I've helped hundreds of people make more money and live a successful life through a rewarding career in sales, and I can help you too through the complete sales mastery. Just go to TheHardKnockState.com, scroll to the bottom of the product page. In the lower hand corner, click on Complete Sales Mastery, add it to the cart. We take all major credit cards. And with that, once you add it to the cart, we'll contact you within 24 hours to get some more information to where we can set up your Cardone University and give you the link or the key to enter the classroom for our live weekly training. And so, again, that's TheHardKnockState.com. Going back to the beliefs of a top sales producer, the principles of a top sales producer, I got to tell you, this is another true belief of any top sales producer, that it's not the phone that works, it's the person on the phone who's working the phone. Look, this thing right here, it does absolutely nothing if I don't take action. If I do nothing with this, all it is just a flat rectangle piece of mass until I do something to work it. And so when you're in sales, working the phone, being on the phone, following up, sending video, sending text messages, calling people, if you're not constantly working the phone is not going to work for you. Never put your trust in one situation. Take massive action. Work on multiple fronts, and you'll always end up with the results. So work on the multiple fronts. Get in front of that customer as they're walking through your showroom or the door to your store or your office. Make sure you're following up on the phone, reaching out to people via email, through text messages, through website chat, through videos, and take massive action on all of those multiple fronts, and you'll be the one at the end of the day ending up with results. How do you want to turn a slow day in a showroom into a day that is a day where it ends in success, where you make a sale? Is by taking massive action. So if everybody else is having a slow day on the showroom and the door really isn't swinging open too much, I got to tell you, just pick up the phone, start typing on your keyboard, start shooting some video, and start sending them to everybody you've talked to over the past week, over the past month. And I guarantee you, by the end of the day, someone will be in your showroom ready to take delivery of the product or the service that you're selling. So how do you know if you're taking enough action? You got to look for new problems. You want to get more appointments, you take massive action. You get more appointments, you have a new problem. All of a sudden, you have to handle all the appointments that you set. New problems are the kind of problems that we want. Don't quit until you get new problems, problems like higher taxes, cars, car payments, homes, and where you want to go on vacation. When you're able to pick from multiple phenomenal destinations to take you and your family on vacation from, you know you've taken massive action throughout your career, throughout your job. Let's suppose you want something, an accountant, a certain income level, to lose 10 pounds. How much action do you need to take? It's the 10x rule. The 10x rule. The only difference between failure and success. Figure out how much effort the average person uh, would need to take to achieve a goal. Then take massive action equal to at least 10 times what you think it's going to take. And so that right there is key, because 10x, what 10x truly is, it's a safety net. It's not bad luck. It's not misfortune. The reason why you're not being successful and moving ahead is not because of the economy. It's not because the lack of it's not because it's not the lack of prospects in your pipeline. When you take enough action, it's not a big deal when an appointment cancels or a buyer backs out. When when you get no showed, we only get frustrated and upset when we get no showed, or when we have an appointment that doesn't buy. They actually show, but they don't buy from us. We only get Salespeople only get upset when those situations occur because they have nothing else going on. They have no other appointments coming in that day. They have nobody to follow up with left in their pipeline. And so a thin pipeline, uh, when you take your pipeline, will be overflowing. And when those things happen to you, you won't even miss it. You'll actually be relieved that you can go get a bite to eat. Be without sanity, logic, or reason when it comes to taking massive amounts of action, and you'll reach heights higher than others never dreamed possible. That there again is another just terrific quote by Frank himself. Here we are at part 7. We're putting it together. We're going to go through and come up with your 90-day massive action plan. So, in review, selling is a prerequisite for life. Your ability to sell determines your ability to survive or thrive. Are you a professional or are you an amateur? A professional engages in a specified activity as his or her main paid occupation. Remember, they're not doing it as a side hustle, and not doing it to just do it as a charity. Uh, Although there are professional salespeople who do it to work for philanthropy and charity, but what I'm talking about is professionals are they're paid people. They get paid for what it is they do. To be great, you must commit. The key to your future is your commitment to your path. So your commitment to you practicing, training, rehearsing every single day, your commitment to your daily training on Cardone University, your commitment to showing up to each weekly group training session and learning more information like this is key to your success. The most important sale is selling yourself. You must be sold on your product, you must be sold on your company, and you must be sold on you. Massive action is the key to your success. Use Grant's 10x rule, not only for sales, but for life. The 90-day massive action plan. Have the 10x mindset. Create the 10x plan and take 10x execution. Whatever it is you have, 10x mindset that you're putting your foot down, you're committing to what it is you want, and that you're going to run faster and harder than whatever you have before in order to get that. Create a game plan, set your goals 10 times higher than what you think is possible, and then 3, the 10x execution. Put in 10 times the work that you think take 10 times the action that you think is going to be necessary in order to make sure you hit this. So the 10x mindset, think about successful athletes, as you see up here, interviewed before the big game. Tom Brady, Steph Curry, Tiger Woods, or Kerry Lloyd. Your last flight. Uh, was your last flight good that you took in an airplane? Did the pilot come on and say something like this? Well, folks, it's pretty rough out there, and I didn't really sleep much last night. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna get you there in one piece. No, your pilot didn't say that, and the person giving your mom surgery didn't tell you. My surgery's a little sketchy today. Our guy is kind of brand new. Our nurse is completely stressed out of her mind, and I'm not feeling myself today. I guarantee you, the surgeon said nothing of that. No one wants to do business with anyone who's less than 100% convinced, committed, and confident that their problem, their product, their service will solve someone's needs. Write it down. I am a professional. I take full responsibility for my performance and my results. It's unrealistic to expect 100%, or is it unrealistic to expect 100% commitment every day? I got to tell you, if you're an average or lower performer, you shy away from hearing 100% commitment. But we will change your mindset. We will change how you're thinking about that. We will have you thinking about getting committed 100%, even more than that, if it's even physically possible. Is it unrealistic to expect someone to achieve greatness without 100% commitment? And most of us have been warned against setting our goals too high. And that's, we hear it all the time. We're in a sales meeting. Our boss asks us what our goal is for the month, and we are really, kind of feeling good. We had a really good month, so we throw out a lofty goal, and then our sales manager goes, "Ah, come on, Greg. Are you really going to hit that? Let's think realistically." The reality is, if you start small, you're going to go small. People's failure to think big usually means they'll never act big. They'll never act big enough, often enough, or persistently enough. You must name and claim your goal. And then ask yourself if the goals you set are equal to your potential. Write it down. Pick a goal, ideally related to work. Write it down. For example, maybe if you want to double your production from, say, 50,000 to 100,000 per month, write it down. What level of activity would you need to get there? What level of activity would you need to take in order to get there? For example, if you're calling on 25 leads a week or 100 leads per month to generate $50,000 per month, you need to call 200 leads a month and in order to double that production. Now 10x that level of activity. Write it down. Also write down any new problems that start coming to you. The 10x execution. Commitment means nothing unless if it's followed by action. You have to be committed. You have to follow that commitment with action. You have to have a plan. You have to work that plan, and you have to execute that plan consistently. Execution basics. Massive action is the right direction that will trump sales skills and polish every time. Keep it simple. Don't worry about being rough, especially at first. Just take massive action. Take notes on every exchange with every client or prospect. Capture their objections and questions to help you predict what will happen with future clients or prospects. Remember, experience comes from taking massive action. Success is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility. And one way to assure success is by signing up for my complete sales mastery program at TheHardKnockState.com. Remember, it's on sale for $1,000 off its original price. It's on sale for $19.97. If you're working on a daily budget and you're figure out how you're going to squeeze $1,997 into your daily budget, well, this actually works out to $5.40 per day. And so $5.40 per day is probably the best deal right now to make sure that you're able to train effectively to polish your skills so you become a top producer. He's studying material from Grant Cardone's 40 plus years of sales experience. And not only 40 plus years of sales experience, but he has put together a complete online university that to date has had over 1 billion courses taken. And there's also to date 400,000 active users. Companies, massive companies, use Cardone University. Companies as large as Google, as large as Microsoft, as large as Audible, as large as Ashley Furniture, companies as large as Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, BMW, Salesforce, they use Cardone University, and they have trained their sales professionals on Cardone University. It works for them. The reason why they're the leaders in their industry. It can work for you, and I know it will work for you because it's not only has it worked for massive companies, but it worked for me. It took me from being an average sales producer, and it took me to being a top producer in my organization. And 6 months later, I was promoted into management to train sales associates on what I learned that made me different and set me up from the rest of the pack. So it will work for you. I believe in this. I have the absolute confidence. I use this every single day, and I have the absolute confidence that after 90 days of going through this 12-month training program, that you will be a completely different sales producer than what you are right now. The complete sales mastery at TheHardKnockState.com. Scroll to the bottom of the bottom of the website, the bottom of the product page, and on the right-hand corner, click on the complete sales mastery. It is on sale again for $19.97. What you'll learn how to develop the mindset of a top sales producer. You'll learn to see opportunity in every corner. You'll learn the perfect sales process and the understanding of how to implement the perfect sales process to every customer every time. You'll start selling your products, services for more money than you've ever sold them before. You'll start selling and earning an excellent income immediately. You'll learn a new skill in a trade that will be useful in any economy and in any marketplace. And why? Why me? Why Greg Nelson? Well, I'm a 20-year veteran as a sales professional. Over the past, over the good part of over half of a decade, I've been in sales management, where I was training sales professionals on how to sell more, how to sell consistently, and how to make more on each sale. Complete knowledge. I have a complete knowledge and understanding of the complete sales cycle and how to use it that maximizes profit. So not only an understanding of the sales cycle and the complete sales process, but how to use it in a way that will maximize your gross profit. How to use it in a way to where you can get all the money for your product and stop having to take discounts or offer discounts in order to move your product. I'm a certified life coach. Not only am I a certified life coach, I'm also a Grant Cardone certified licensee, and I'm certified to deliver 10x sales coaching material. I've and curriculum. So with that, I've not only used the product myself, I study the product every day, and I deliver the product. I know it works, and I know it will work for you. And I know that if you're having any issues in selling right now, if you're having any issues, paying bills now, and 76% of us are. 76% of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and 64% of us have no money in savings. In sales, in a new sales career, or maybe if you're in a career right now, uh, you have to know that your earning potential is unlimited. And if your potential is here, but you're only getting paid here because maybe you're in something like a union, or maybe I'm nothing bad about unions. I was in a union for, gosh, I think roughly about 15 years. And so, but I knew my potential was much higher than what I would ever be paid. And no matter how much harder I worked to make the store look better, to where my department could sell more product, uh, I knew that no matter what, at the end of the day, I was going to get paid the same amount of money as the guy sloughing in the corner. And if we clocked in at the same time, if we were hired at the same time, and we got equal hours for the next 5 years, I knew that guy, that sluffer, was going to be making the same amount of money as I was making busting my butt. And so I got to ask, are you exchanging hard earned work for a meager hourly wage? If you are, the sales industry could be the right industry for you. If you're sick of looking through the job postings, the classifieds, the want ads, if you're sick of looking at jobs only to get your hopes up, to think you found the right fit for you, and to read further on in the description and to find out that you need a special degree or you need some fancy schooling in order to qualify. If you feel hopeless that you're not in control of your income, the sales career will definitely be for you, because you are in control of your income. And through the complete sales mastery, through any of my packages or products or services that I offer, you will learn how to sell more. You'll learn to sell consistently, and you'll learn to earn more on each paycheck. Have you thought that you'd be good at sales, but you're afraid you won't make consistent money? Uh, I can solve that problem for you. The complete sales mastery will definitely solve that problem for you. Are you worried? Are you worried what your friends and family will say if you start a new career in sales? Are you worried what people are going to think about you jumping in to this new sales career? Are you in sales now, but you find it hard to hit quotas or bonuses? I got to tell you, we can help you out. I can help you. The complete sales mastery package can help you. You will start not only hitting quota, you'll surpass your quota, and you'll start hitting bonuses. Learn effective follow-up strategies. A large part, when I was in sales management, I was put there not only of because I became a top producer, but also it was because I knew and was able to implement effective sales strategies. And my sales strategies, my follow-up sales strategies, allowed me to produce more than what others were producing. So if you're being left speechless when customers object to your offers, do you got to go through the complete sales mastery, because we're going to cover overcoming objections. Do you find yourself repeating the same thing over and over again when you're following up? The most common follow-up call is, hey John, yeah, this is Greg. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know I was just thinking about you, and just wanted to check in and see if there was anything I could do. No, we're still thinking about it. Okay, well, let me know. That's how 80% of all follow-up phone calls go. Do you feel sick when you have to follow up with clients who have already flat out told you no and left your showroom, your store, your office? Because you're probably missing some deals if you are. If you're wondering what others about my sales training and sales coaching, if you're worried that the complete sales mastery will be the right solution for you to be able to sell more, sell consistently, and stop living paycheck to paycheck, I got to tell you, John B. said he relies heavily on my coaching. And whenever he feels like he's struggling, he always refers back to what he's learned. Nick C says, thanks, man. I learned a lot about sales from you. And Mike E says, "You helped me get my phone skills to the next level." And Mikey is now a vice president of a large insurance company on the East Coast. Started off in automotive sales, didn't know the first thing about selling. And learning the material that I teach, he was able to take himself from where he is, able to create uh, a wonderful and highly successful life for him and his family. So take the next step and take control of your financial future. Sign up for the Complete Sales Mastery. Again, we'll contact you within 24 hours to finish the setup of your Cardone University and to give you the link or the key to our weekly sales training session where you're going to learn 9 of Grant Cardone's 10X sales professional courses, just like the course we covered this evening. And you'll get your access to your Cardone University 90 days into the program by doing the weekly training of 10 to 15 minutes a day and going through 1 hour of training once a week. You'll be in a completely different mindset than where you're at right now. You'll be making more money than what you've ever made right now. Your sales will be higher than what they've ever have been. Your manager will be asking you, "What are you doing differently?" And the only thing you can say is, "Hey, I signed up for this sales training course called the Complete Sales Mastery," and tell your boss where the other people can go out and they can get the training and support that they need. Again, we take all major credit cards. We'll contact you within 24 hours to finish setting up your Cardone University. Again, it's on sale for $1,000 off my normal price of $29.97. It works out to $5.47 per day. Again, we take all major credit cards. Just add it to your cart, complete your transaction. It's the list rate on the beliefs and from all the pack. This is principles of a top sales producer, sales professional. And tomorrow, when you hit your showroom, your store, or your office, you'll have a spring in your step. You'll have a ear-to-ear grin, and you'll be ready to go out and serve the needs of the customers walking in the door. You'll be able to have a little bit more ammunition to make those follow-up phone calls and get the people back into your store, into your showroom, and into your office and sign in a contract. Thank you again for watching, and catch me again probably tomorrow at 7 p.m. Where we'll be going yet over more information again to help you sell more, sell consistently,